What's going on, girls, guys, and everyone else in between? Once again, it is your host, Arachnid Soul, coming to you with a gamer podcast. We are talking about early access games and everything that surrounds it. Triple Threat, what's going on?
Hey! Yeah, very excited. I love early access. I have a lot of early access games and I enjoy them. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way that you are. A lot of the time, though, I will see people in forums and chat rooms, different places, especially when it comes to PC gaming, because PC gaming is really the thing that's brought about early access. And I will see a lot of people say, "Yeah, that game looks good, but I'm not going to get it because it's early access, or I have some unspoken rule where I don't get early access games." Meanwhile, I think this is the perfect topic to speak with you about because, much like myself, when I see an early access game, it almost doesn't register to me that it's early access.
Yeah.
I just think, oh my god, that game looks awesome,
Exactly.
I gotta get that.
Yeah. It's the same. And then I know they put up a video sometimes and it's like, yes, like look at all those features. And I know sometimes you enter the game and it's like, where's this feature? And it's not there. Like, it's okay, it's coming. It's coming.
To me, I think it's kind of awesome. The concept of early access is basically you have a developer or a publisher that has this game that they want to put out, and we'll talk about Steam basically, like I pointed out, and the game's been greenlit, but they might not have the funding up front to fully flush out the game. So what they do is they say, hey, we're going to have, different benchmarks, we're going to set different goals here, and we're going to tell people this is what's in the game right now. If you get it, it's not a finished product. It's not even in beta yet. It's an alpha. But if you guys contribute, we'll stay with it. And the other good thing is you're going to get the game now at a tremendous discount from what it's going to be when the game launches. And at the same time, we want you to go on the forums. We want to hear your input. We want you to help us mold the game. So by the time the game comes out, it's been alpha tested, it's been beta tested. Instead of you having a group of 5 or 6 developers in a room who said, hey, this is a great game, now you've got hundreds or thousands of people that have helped shape it and make it into a great game. And the reason I wanted to talk to you about this Triple Threat, not only because you're into early access like I am, but the game that really introduced me to you as a person on YouTube is 7 Days to Die.
Yes.
7 Days to Die is a game that's been in early access for a while now, but it's one of the success stories of early access. They haven't burnt the people who have given the money for this game. They have set goals and they have delivered on all of those goals, and a lot of the time delivered faster. When they went into early access, they said, this is the engine we're on, accept it, and then they actually delivered more, and they're like, you know what, we're going to Unity 5.
Yeah.
And now the game, it looks better, there's ambient occlusion.
Beautiful. Like when I started playing, what I know it was season 6, but I can't remember what alpha that was. Like, when it went from day to night, I was like, oh my word, look at the sunset. Like, I could barely concentrate on the game because of the light change. I was like, oh, it's so beautiful.
I was the same way, and then when it went to Unity 5, and you realize now inside of buildings, the light, it looked the way it should in real life.
Yeah.
You saw shadows on the wall, and as the moon moved, like the frame of the window moved across the back wall, and you see the stars. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
They did things the way that it should be done. They focused on the gameplay first, and then said, okay, we'll work on the graphics later, as opposed to doing it the other way. And maybe that's a little bit of the freedom you get with an early access game, because you've been upfront with people, and you've got people who've bought into a product already knowing it's not going to have those AAA graphics off the start, maybe, or it's not going to have these features, but the people are happy about it. At the same time, early access does not always go well.
Yeah.
We tried not to do this interview too much before we did the interview, but you were telling me about Rust, so can you elaborate a little bit on that?
I do love Rust. Like, I'm not bashing Rust or anything. I love it. I've played a lot of hours. But I know when it first came out, it was a completely different game, and then as far as what I'm heard, it's changed. So now you have old Rust, and you have this new Rust, which is quite similar to 7 Days to Die. And I just, like, when it first happened, especially, I was a bit like, like, everyone's bought this game because they like the look of old Rust, and now old Rust might not even exist one day. And people paid money for old Rust, and now it's not even worked on anymore. So they didn't have the choice to buy the game that they now end up with, kind of thing. I don't know if that it probably makes sense if you know about Rust, but yeah, so you're gonna end up with a game that's not what you expected. Like, it's not what you thought you were buying. And it's actually turned out to be a nice looking game, but it could have went really wrong. I mean, if it's not what you wanted, it's not what you wanted. But it's what you wanted.
They have, from what I understand, still delivered a game that a lot of people like, and then
it's great, and it looks great now. I'm not gonna deny that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the new build of it. I'm like, graphically it looks great. I still haven't played it, so I can't actually talk to how good it is or whatever. One of the things that has been talked about recently in the gaming world is the fact that early access is going to the consoles. There hasn't been a lot of beta things on console. The fact that Destiny was going to be something that people on console could beta test and it broke all sorts of records was really awesome, and then the game came out, and despite if people like it or don't like it, the beta really showed you what that game was going to be. And I know now on the next-gen consoles especially, because the difference between next-gen consoles and PCs is going to get smaller and smaller over time. And it's not because the PCs are trying to become more like consoles only. It's also because the consoles are trying to become more like PCs. And I just wonder, and maybe we'll look back on this a couple of years from now and we'll laugh that I even had this question, but I wonder if the people on console who really haven't been exposed to early access as much as PC gamers, if they're going to complain, if they're going to gripe, are they going to understand the concept of early access and the fact that you're paying for this game that isn't finished and potentially might never be finished, whereas generally speaking on console you're used to a nice shiny polished thing that's finished and everything's been tied up and there's a bow on it.
Gotta start somewhere. I suppose PC started somewhere too. Like, they've had the first early access thing, and I don't know, I guess people accept. I don't know. Minecraft was a big thing. I think that kind of kicked it all off. And if that hadn't started, maybe it would be the same.
When you look back at Minecraft, it broke so much ground in so many different ways, not only from an early access point of view, but from the point of view of, can a development team that's not that big be very successful with the game? And Minecraft, that thing went on to make billions and billions of dollars. The game life of Minecraft is ridiculous. I mean, that's one game. It's not like they've released a series of 15 games. That's one game that people, might have bought in early access and are still playing. That's the dream model for any video game that comes out. I don't care. To have a small development team, to put almost no money into a game, and for it to be that successful. It's probably the most successful video game of our lifetime in terms of small development team, little bit of money put in, and at the end of the day, the amount of profit that thing has earned.
Yeah. Without Minecraft, I don't think you would have had all the early access games we have now, which probably means some games wouldn't have even gotten the money to exist. Like, if you hadn't had Minecraft, it wouldn't have inspired the 7 Days to Die people to do their thing. And it wouldn't have inspired more people to do their thing, and we wouldn't have all these games because they would never have got the funds to make them.
I used to always think that 7 Days to Die was inspired by Minecraft and Fallout 3. It's like those two got together and had a baby.
Yeah.
And the more I play 7 Days to Die, I'm like, God, they got a lot of stuff in here from Fallout 3. And now when I see a lot of the new crafting survival games, I don't even think of them being inspired by Minecraft anymore.
No.
I think of them as being inspired by 7 Days to Die. When I see H1Z1, when I see, Reign of Kings or Ark or any of these things, to the point where when you play Minecraft has its own controls, but now all of the crafting games just have the 7 Days to Die controls.
Yeah, I suppose it's standard PC gaming controls now. People are never going to get tired of zombie survival.
And continuing that, I know that you were one of the early adopters of H1Z1 or H1Z1, depending on where you are when you hear this conversation in the world.
Mm-hmm.
an early access game that came out that is much, survival crafting, zombie horde game, much like 7 Days to Die, much like these other things. That game has a slightly different model than the games we've talked about, because that was a game that went to early access with the intention that, hey, we just need the money to finish this game so that we can then fully release it on PC and eventually on console, because it is made by Sony.
Well, I know even before it released, it was like, I sat there waiting for it to come out. It's like, okay, this game comes out at this time, and I'm gonna buy it. But even before, I struggled. I thought, am I gonna buy it? Because it's gonna be free to play. And I don't know if I want to spend money on a game that I can get for free. And so I kind of thought about it, and I was telling you this as well, but like, I looked into it and it's like, okay, yeah, I really like the sound of the game. I want to play it. And I decided I was actually happy to support it, to help the game be made. It's like, okay, I bought it. And I sat there waiting, and it came out, and I was like, yes. And then I know on the very first day, like, no one could play. I waited all night. Like, literally, I woke up, well, I tried to get on, and then it got to 7 a.m. in the morning. I'd been up all night, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna get an hour's sleep. And then I slept for like an hour, and I came back, and I played H1Z1 that whole day on like no sleep. I was so excited.
Yeah, I remember watching you do that, and I'm like, hey, that looks kind of cool. It's another game where there's people out there who will be saying, are they actually saying good things about H1Z1? Like, what are we listening to? There's people who have had fun with it. There's people who like it, and there's people who don't.
I went through a phase where I thought, okay, like I had fun the first few days maybe, and then it turned into feeling like a walking simulator. Like I was just walking, not finding any loot, and I stopped playing it for a while. I'll say that. I stopped playing it, and I've recently gone back to it, and again, it's great. They've really improved it. Like they knew what was wrong, they found out what was wrong, and now it's just amazing hours of fun again.
And that's kind of early access. I think to sum up this conversation, if you're out there, maybe give early access a try. I mean, you're going to get burnt sometimes. Sometimes you won't get burnt, but these are the concepts that will come to a AAA game near you at some point. It has been your host, Arachnid Soul, intellectual, voracious, and passionate about gaming. As always, I was joined by Triple Threat. Her information is in the description below. Come back, join us next time. Follow me on Twitter at Arachnid Soul, and I will catch you girls, guys, and everyone else out there in between.
Bye-bye.
Later.
I didn't know if I should say bye.